Hey everybody, welcome back to Off the Wall. I'm Mike. Today I just got done watching Halloween Ends on Peacock, and I'm here to talk about it with you guys. I'll try to keep things spoiler free in the beginning, and then I'm going to get into some spoilers at the end because this is a movie that's kind of hard to talk about without spoiling anything. Halloween Ends is the third installment in this new Halloween trilogy that started in 2018 with the retconning reboot sequel, Halloween, named the same as the original. Odd choice, but okay. And it's a direct sequel to Halloween Kills, which came out last year. Now, this whole series was kind of thrown into a little bit of release chaos because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but these two were shot back to back and were eventually released. This one is still directed by David Gordon Green and also co-written by him and Danny McBride, Chris Bernier, and Paul Brad Logan. Yes, I'm looking at it right here on Wikipedia in front of me. It once again stars Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. We bring back Andy Matichak as her granddaughter Allison, and James Jude Courtney and Nick Castle as Michael Myers the Shape. I just I'm not sure where to start with this one. It's very frustrating because the 2018 Halloween I thought was a very good return to form for this series because most of the Halloween sequels aren't very good, and even Rob Zombie's remakes are kind of hit and miss. So the 2018 one I very much enjoyed. Halloween Kills, I always felt was kind of just a slight misstep. It was a neat idea to pick it up right afterwards, but ultimately the plot went nowhere and the ending was kind of a mess. This one takes place 4 years later, and we're seeing kind of how things have developed since then in the town of Haddonfield and how Laurie and her granddaughter are adjusting to their life. And yeah, and it's just kind of a bit all over the place. Again, it's hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it. So the mostly what I'm just going to say here is a non-spoiler review is just that I didn't really enjoy this movie at all. I was confused by a lot of it. I watched it on Paramount on Peacock. I had some friends that went and saw it in the theaters, who said that they wish they had watched it on Peacock when they got home and stayed home instead. So if you're going to watch this, if you've got Peacock or have someone who has it and will watch it with you, um, I would recommend doing that. I think it's worth the watch. I can see how this movie is going to divide a lot of people. I think some people are going to enjoy it for what it is. If you're more of a big Halloween fan or a big horror fan, or maybe just a little bit more film savvy, you might not have as good a time with this one. But I genuinely did not enjoy this one at all, and that's about all I can say about this from a non-spoiler review. So let's just I'm gonna put the thing up here so that we all know. Um, yeah, yeah, that's what it's gonna be. Yeah. So, we're 4 years later. We're introduced to this character of Corey, who a year after 2019, it's a year after um 2018's Halloween, and he's babysitting a young boy who's a brat, and the kid pulls a prank and locks Corey in the closet. Corey tries to break out and inevitably busts the door open and knocks the kid down several flights of stairs and kills the kid and goes, and it's a whole thing. So we're introduced to Corey all of a sudden. And Corey in this movie is, by the way, is played by Rowan Campbell. This is his first kind of big film role, where he's really been in this big leading spot. He's done some stuff on television. He's on the Hulu Hardy Boys series as Frank Hardy, and he's had some other television appearance as well. But this is kind of like a first big film role for him, and I think he plays the character of Corey very well for how it was written. And that's kind of a common theme I've noticed with a lot of horror movies and a lot of things released this year is I'm seeing a lot of really good actors making the most out of a script that at times doesn't really work for them. There's a lot of choices made in this story in regards to Corey's character that don't make a whole lot of sense, and I feel like maybe would have benefited from a little bit of a longer runtime or just different choices with the script and with the editing. The editing is actually a big sore thumb in this movie because there are scenes that just kind of end. There's a lot of scenes that just kind of end for no reason. There's a sequence where Corey who is now dating Allison, Laurie's granddaughter, and that relationship happens out of absolutely nowhere in the movie. Um, he's showing her around the now abandoned house of the family where he accidentally killed the young boy, and he's you know showing her around the house, and she's like, yeah, no, I remember hearing all the stories about you. And then the scene just kind of ends. We cut away and never go back to it. It was a great moment, I felt like, for them to really spend some time with this young couple who, by what's shown to us in the movie, have only known each other a couple of days. They meet when Corey is being bullied by some high school students who are harassing him outside of a gas station, and his hand gets injured, and Laurie takes him to the doctor's office where Allison is now working as a nurse, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'll go to that into a sec here. And that's the first time they meet, and they chat about her car. She says, yeah, my car's been doing some rattling. He's like, oh, I know exactly what's wrong with it and how to fix it. Just that's it. Just, oh, your car's rattling. Well, it's probably this, and here's how I would fix it. He hasn't looked at her car. All he knows is that it's rattling. Could be anything, but sure, whatever. That's their whole conversation, and she just kind of decides, yeah, I'm into him. She goes home and gives Laurie a hard time for thinking that this was her setting them up, which, if that's the case, that's a weird way to go about it. And then she just kind of gives into it, and suddenly she's just in love with this guy. At one point, they're talking about running away from Haddonfield together. They've known each other a couple of days. Um, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but there's a lot of times where it feels like we're going to get some development with these two, where they're going to spend some time getting to know each other so that we can in turn like get to know them. We kind of know Allison from the last two movies, but was mostly as a proxy through her mother, played by Judy Greer, unfortunately no longer. She died at the end of the last movie. Corey, we don't know a whole lot about, other than just he was a babysitter and he accidentally killed a kid, and now he gets bullied, and I guess knows a lot about cars. I think it's kind of alluded to in the beginning of the movie. He's talking about going to engineering school or something like that. And but it just kind of ends there. It's a lot of setup for a lot of neat ideas that never actually go anywhere. We're just kind of meant to just accept things for how they are. The 4-year time jump makes some things not totally make sense in the movie. In particular, Allison is now working as a nurse. In 2018's Halloween, she was only 17 years old. 4 years after, and then Halloween Kills takes place the same night. So it's only been 4 years. She'd maybe be 21. How is she a nurse? I mean, she'd have to do 4 years of college to get a bachelor's degree to even start being a nurse. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It just kind of makes things a little more confusing. There's also a moment like where she talks about how Allison talks about how Laurie has gotten sober and gone to therapy and all this, but they're seen like drinking wine and stuff around the house. I have a lot of friends who have gone through AA or treatment and have gotten sober, and they'll be the first ones to tell you, like, once you get sober, like, you don't keep that stuff in the house ever. It's the whole point. You eliminate the temptation. So it doesn't, I don't know. And that, maybe that's a little nitpicky, but it's just little things like that just don't make a whole lot of sense. Particularly the time jump thing, where it doesn't make sense how she'd be a nurse already. It's just the movie feels like it's setting up three different storylines that never actually go anywhere. Like in the first one, it's like we're setting up like Corey's going to be this guy who's been misunderstood and all this, who's going to get this redemption and get to come to the rescue at the end and be the hero. But then suddenly he's evil because he gets the shit bullied out of him, and stumbles across Michael Myers 40 minutes into the movie, finally, who's been hiding in the sewers for 4 years for some reason. We don't really know. And Michael grabs him by the throat and is choking him out. And then they make eye contact. And now suddenly Corey's evil and Michael just kind of lets him go. And now they're best buddies. I don't know. I don't know. It feels like, I actually wrote down in my notes, it feels like we're Friday the 13th part 5ing this, because that's basically what happened there. It wasn't Jason, it was some other guy. and the mask possessed him or something. I don't know. It doesn't make this is the first time in all the Halloween movies with Michael Myers. It's the first time this has ever been done, and doesn't make any sense because it doesn't fit how Michael Myers operates. Then we go into this weird story where it seems like Allison is gonna Allison and Corey are gonna go take these people out together. Like Allison starts seeming like she's going down kind of this dark mentality, and it seems like Corey's kind of bringing her over to her idea, because there's a point where we see a kill that happens in the trailer where Michael goes and kills this doctor that Allison works for, who's been mistreating her and is very sexist, and I guess passed her up for a promotion. So Corey goes and kills the doctor, which is weird because how would he know any of that unless Allison told him? But we never see it happen on screen, so I don't know how he would know any of that. We just see him witness the doctor be a little shitty in the first couple minutes of the movie, and that's it. But anyway, Corey goes and kills the doctor. Michael shows up and kills the other nurse that the doctor's been sleeping with. And by the way, in every Halloween movie, Michael stabs somebody with a knife and pins them to the wall, and I still refuse to believe those knives can hold up a human body, but it is what it is. And then as soon as this kill happens, we immediately cut to Corey riding his motorcycle with Allison on the back and listening to the music, and they're smiling and having a good time. It's almost like there's this weird implication that Allison was somehow involved, but that never goes anywhere. It comes to that editing. We have this big kill, and then we immediately cut to Corey, who just did this kill, I guess a little bit later, hanging out with Allison. It's weird edits that send the story in a weird direction. And then all this stuff with Allison just kind of comes to a head and is abandoned. There's a moment where she and Corey are planning to leave Haddonfield together, I guess. And at this point, Lori has decided that she just knows Corey is evil. But there's no way, it doesn't make any sense why she would think that. The idea the movie is trying to convey to us is that, like, he's, I guess, giving off signals that he's just something in his eyes. It's just something in his eyes, and I know that now he's evil. Okay, sure, I guess, but you're trying to convince your granddaughter of that I just know he's evil. Why? We know as the audience that he's been killing people. We know that. There's no way for Lori to know there's anything wrong with this guy other than just like, yeah, he's a little off. Well, no shit, he's been off the whole movie. She's the one that tried to set them up together in the first place, and then at one point actually tells Corey, like, Allison is not is not able to handle this kind of relationship. I don't even know what that means, first of all. Second of all, she's the one that set them up together. And third, she hasn't witnessed anything Corey has done that could lead anyone to believe that he's possessed by Michael Myers or something. Again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's just it's a lot of choices like that. I don't want to go through and nitpick every single scene in the movie, because I could do that. I took notes from the whole movie, but there's a lot of messy stuff that happens. In particular, too, when Corey goes to the sewers to Michael and fights him and steals his mask. Keep in mind, in 2018's Halloween, we watched Michael Myers rip the doors off of a bathroom stall and rip them off the walls and just brutalize these people. He's this unstoppable force. But in this movie, he's just kind of like weakened out. Like he gets hit loosely by a cop in the sewer, and then is just down and out for the count, and Corey has to help him kill the guy. And then Corey comes back, and in 30 seconds, I timed it, in 30 seconds, Corey is able to pin Michael down, fight him off, and take the mask from him. Okay, sure, if you say so. Corey goes to Lori's house to kill her. Lori shoots Corey thinking it's Michael. And then Corey, falls down the stairs and takes the mask off and kills himself. Like, if I can't have Allison, no one can. Okay, I guess that's where we were going with this. And to have Allison come in and find Lori standing over him holding the knife, and her immediate thought is, oh, she did this just to keep us apart. The Michael Myers mask is laying right there next to him. He's in the blue jumpsuit. The mask is right there. I it's so stupid. It's so stupid. But instead, she's like, no, you did this to keep us apart. It's like he's where the mask is right there. It is very obvious that he was dressed up as Michael Myers. Anyone with a brain in their head would at least assume Laurie thought it was Michael. But then that drama itself is over and done with in a matter of minutes because Allison storms out. She realizes that the radio station that Corey loved is on fire. Oh, and then she goes back and is like, oh, no, I totally believe you. All of that was pointless. All of it was completely pointless. All of the Corey stuff is completely pointless because he dies with 20 minutes left in the movie. And then Michael Myers shows up and fights with Laurie, and Laurie kills him. Yeah, I don't know what they were going with this movie. And for them to talk about how, like, if it makes enough money, we might make another one. First of all, it's not going to make enough money. It's already showing in the box office. I'm recording this on Saturday morning. Second of all, the way this movie ends with them taking Michael's body and dumping it into a shredder at a junkyard, and we watch his body basically liquefy. There is no version of this story where Michael Myers comes back. There's just not. So calm the hell down. Michael Myers is an afterthought in this own movie. This is Halloween Ends. It's the end of the story that started with Michael Myers. He has maybe 15 minutes screen time in an almost 2-hour movie. Maybe 15 minutes. I think that's being overly generous, honestly. He's basically a cameo in his own movie. The kills are cool. I'll say that. The kills that happen in this movie are pretty cool. There's a kill scene at a junkyard that's pretty awesome with some cool editing in it. They're brutal. They're intense. I'll give them that. Laurie's killing of Michael Myers feels very satisfying, mostly out of nostalgia. Like from the movies, from a standalone point with the movie, I don't think it earns it. But if you look at the franchise as a whole, yeah, Laurie's killing of Michael's satisfying because it's brutal. She brutalizes him in a way that we kind of need to see. She needs that. It's cathartic for her. We get it. But all in all, I think the movie just it feels like they had too many ideas for how to do this movie, and they just kind of sandwiched them all together. It felt like a bunch of different ideas thrown together, too many cooks in the kitchen, maybe with the script. I don't know, but watch it for yourself. Maybe it's enough for you. For me, it just felt like a hot mess, and it felt like a real waste of 2 hours. It takes over half the movie for like any of the actual killing to start in Halloween. Yeah. So it wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy this, and I'm honestly disappointed because I did really enjoyed 2018's Halloween, and Halloween Kills was fine for what it was. It wasn't as good as 2018's Halloween, but it was fine. It just could have been better, and this one felt like just such a misfire. This one just felt really bad. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments, and follow our stuff, subscribe, check out everything else we got going on here, and we'll see you guys again next time here on Off the Wall. Bye.